Welcome. This is Dr. Jason Henderson, and I am excited to be with you guys again. Listen, if we ain't tell you one thing, that Saturday is going to be on fire. We are going to have an amazing time with our book festival. Juneteenth, we are celebrating. I got my t-shirt on, the Man of God t-shirt tonight, because I'm just so excited about it. I want to express how excited I am to be able to be a part of this book festival where we're going to highlight some of the best young authors out here today. Authors that are rewriting and changing the narrative for African Americans across the country, beyond the country, in the world. You know, in America, there was a time where African Americans or Africans that were enslaved did not have the ability to read and write. And this coming Saturday, we're going to celebrate that the veil have been lifted and the liberty stands because the Spirit of the Lord says that we can read and write. We step in to our excellence. I'm excited to share with you. I have with me one of the most amazing authors who is in our lineup. I have Miss Leesa Askew. Leesa, it is so glad to have you on with me on this interview. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm doing great, Dr. Henderson. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for having me. And I am elated to be a part of such a powerful event.
Oh, thank you. This event, we want to show and showcase. We want to showcase authors like yourself and getting opportunity where you could discuss new narratives by becoming a writer. What inspired you to become an author and to become a writer?
Well, and I challenge everyone who's listening. There's things that you say, and people come up to you and say, you should write a book. Have you ever thought about writing a book? And you hear these things over and over again in life. And then you're like, do people really want to hear what I have to say? And what really pushed me over the edge is I was unexpectedly laid off from my corporate America job, which I worked so hard to climb up this corporate ladder. And literally 100 of us in the leadership team pulled into a room. Yeah, your job is no longer there. So at that point, you really have a self inventory like, well, what do I want to do with my life? And
Mm-hmm.
I decided to put the book out there. It was a very challenging time, but I said it's all about extreme ownership. And that's kind of the spirit and the theme of my book is taking extreme ownership because, as Charles Swindoll says, life is 10% what happens to you and 90% your attitude. And that's kind of the spirit where it comes from. So from that, I decided, okay, I want to get this into a literature part. And I started, God will align the right people in your life when you want to do things. And I'm a part of Toastmasters, which I absolutely love. And
Uh-huh.
several of my Toastmaster um, I guess you said mates or whatever, they all had written books. So I talked to them, and one of them recommended me to a publishing company called Conviction to Change, C2C. It's a Black-owned publishing company. I spoke to her, and from there, the book started. And she really helped me take from inception an idea and all the way to an actual published work of art. So yeah.
Oh man. Now, this book, Stop Making Lemons.
Stop making.
Ever since the first ever since the first time I got a chance to hear about this book and talk to you about this book, I've been so excited about what the audience is going to be able to get. What do you want to give as a preview to your book? What do you want people to know about this book, Stop Making Lemons?
Well, I tell you, lemons, right? Lemons.
Yeah.
They are symbolic of sour things in our life. Sour points. These are your challenges, your areas of opportunity and growth. So when life gives you lemons, the first thing most people say is, oh, make lemonade. Well, if you think about it, if you're taking something so sour and you're just adding sugar and water, all you're doing is diluting it. You're really not solving it. So the book saying, stop making lemonade, the metaphor is instead of diluting life's sour points and problems, get to the root. figure out why you are having the challenges you are. Most of us can attest that we have the same theme in our lives when it comes to issues or challenges. So if you can really get to the root of the cause and then solve it from there and actually own it, you will change the trajectory of your life. So that's what the book talks about. And it breaks it down in our most common areas, our introspective limits. So the things that we do to ourselves, we all have had an encounter with that lonely place called self-sabotage, right? Where you
Yeah.
are sabotaging yourself and something, you just talk yourself out of things. And then your relationships, whether it's a romantic relationship or a familiar relationship or even friendships. And then there's your professional limits where it comes to your life, your work life things, and then financial limits. If you are really bad about managing money and you don't know how to truly stretch the dollar or value it, then you will have a lot of sour points dealing with money until you get to the root cause of how you are handling your money. So the book goes into all the different parts, and there's a journal area at the end of each chapter so you can jot down your lemons as well as really cool, useful lemon recipes.
Wow. Wow. This is amazing.
Yeah.
So we're able to see how we could take some of the sour points in our life and find the new opportunities in it. So how would you categorize this book? What genre do we find this book?
I would say it's definitely a self-help, self-development,
Hmm.
self-growth, which is one of my favorite, and nonfiction, which is one of my favorite areas. Some of my, when I was in high school, I read Charles Cherry's book, Free Your Mind. And then also Dennis Kimbro's Think and Grow Rich, The Black Experience is one of my favorite self-help books. And just being inspired by other Black authors who talk about professional development. Because a lot of times when you hear about this, you hear the big non-African American names, which they're all phenomenal. But to have a self-help area, I love Ayanna Van Zant. Her books are phenomenal too. So I would categorize it right in that self-help area.
Self-help. I see Juneteenth as so important for
Yeah.
self-help.
Yes.
We 1865, going
Hmm.
back 1865, where all the states are now free and now they have liberty. So we're going to have jubilation come Saturday. We're going to have jubilation. Listen, we're going to kick off with Zakai Free, and we have a list of individuals who are speaking. We have yours truly, Kendra Clavon, who's going to join him, and we're going to have a discussion about the historical benefits of the HBCUs and how they played an important role in African American advancement, self-help, to taking it on our own responsibility to taking care of ourselves. Not
Absolutely.
only that, you want to make sure you catch the conversation for those who are listening. And I know about your tribe, but we have a conversation amongst the Divine Nine that they're going to be discussing the roles of the
Hmm.
sororities and the
Yeah,
fraternities and the historical aspect of scholarly advancement. Why
absolutely.
did those ladies and why did those men thought it was so important after just a few decades after slavery are now pushing for advancement in
Mhm.
education? So I want you to just tell us just a little bit what makes those ladies of the pearls so amazing. I have a precious one. My youngest daughter, she
Oh,
also is of AKA. But
yeah.
can you just tell us a little bit about your sorority and why is it special to you?
Absolutely. I tell you that it goes back to when I was in middle school. I have a little interesting dichotomy for my life. My father is African American, my mother is Korean, and my dad was in the military. So, very cliche, I guess you can say, biracial child. And when I got an opportunity to live with my paternal grandparents, and I'm from Jacksonville, Florida, and they live in an economically depressed area. So, it was a very life opening and life changing event. When I went to predominantly Black middle school and high school. And through those experiences, a lot of the sororities and fraternities would do things to give back to the schools. So that was my first encounter for organized sororities and fraternities. Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated did Precious Pearls and other events that I was involved with. And the community service, the sisterhood, I have immense respect for all the Divine Nine, right? I mean, just because we're
Yeah.
Alpha first, we can't help that. However,
Yeah.
we're glad that we were able to blaze the trail for everyone else. And in that, just some of my most dynamic women, or a mentor of mine, Cassandra Barlow, she was a woman of Alpha Kappa Alpha, and she really extended herself to me as a mentor as I graduated high school and went into college. So it was natural for me to want to be a part of such a dynamic organization, and with all of our national points that we do. And now we even have our Madam Vice President, who is a member of the sorority. So I just love that it's a group full of dynamic women from all walks of life, all different experiences. And having that network is so important, no matter what sorority you're in. It's one of those things that until you've experienced it, you really cannot understand it. And I know that some people, people have different views about it, but at the end of the day, where great people can gather and lift each other up, it's always a great cause.
You're absolutely right. And that's what we are learning about Juneteenth, that we can have self-help. We can have
Yes.
self-love. And that's
Yes.
what I think. When I think of your book, I think of self-love.
That's a really good one. I do love it. It is about self-love because in the spirit of Juneteenth, independence, liberation, the
Yes.
first place you have to liberate is your mind. And the way you liberate your mind is by taking control, controlling the narrative, not letting things victimize you. I mean, in the book, we talk about there's a city called Victimville, and are you the mayor of Victimville? And if everything is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, or this or that, then you are a resident of Victimville. At some
Ooh.
you got to pack your bags
That's right.
and you're trying to go to Liberation Nation, right?
That's right.
The
That's right.
Independence Drive.
I don't want to be in Victimville. I don't want to even catch the bus or the subway in
Exactly.
Victimville.
You don't even
I
want
don't
to
even want to
flag
pass
it.
through.
You don't even want to know what's going on.
That's right. I love how you're able to apply just principles of life and make them fun. You took lemons and make it applicable, and to take victims and make a little city out of it. I think that's cool. You're a storyteller. I think you're a great storyteller. I'm hoping in your next books, and I want to inspire you. Continue to write stories. Continue to write. Oh, you have some amazing ones. And I've learned that you are a speaker. I learned that you are a Toastmaster.
Yeah.
What inspired you to become a speaker?
In the spirit of self-love and self-growth, I know that as I tried to pursue my career in the corporate space, I remember applying for jobs, and I have this in the book, where I was more than qualified, but then I didn't get the role. And when I would ask for the feedback, people would say, you're just too nice. You're too nice. You're too this. And I think as women in business, we have two dichotomies that we have to fight against. Either you're so friendly and people they don't think you know what you're talking about, or you have what they call RBF, resting blank face. Um,
Yes.
then they're like, you're so angry. So either you're angry or you're too nice. And if it's a man, it's looked upon differently. Men who are very firm are assertive. Or he's have men who are very nice. Oh, they're so empathetic. They're laid back. And with that, I realized I do not know how to communicate in a way where people can take me seriously. I needed to have crucial conversations and make sure I can still be authentic to myself, because positivity is my default. Even if I'm having a bad day, I'm always going to get back to my default. I'm always going to get back to finding the gratitude and the happiness in the situation. That was coming across as soft, like I didn't have a backbone. So I joined Toastmasters to work on my speaking skills from all dynamics, where I can have that conversation in the boardroom in front of all these people, delivering those really tough messages and still being taken seriously. And I wanted to convert my unicorn sparkly image into a stallion. Like, okay, I know how to do that. So that's what got me into it. Well, in Toastmasters, competition is huge. And I joined one of the local speech competitions, and then I just kept winning and winning and winning. And I got a chance to go to the semifinals for the World Championship of Public Speaking, which is literally 30,000 people from across the world come into this competition. So I was a part of the top 100, and then you go into semifinal group. So we were, it was just phenomenal. I had people from Singapore and Cayman Islands and India and all these different places that were competing with me. So it was pretty awesome.
Man, listen, you just blew me away. You blew me away with that whole little section right there. I don't even know which part that I want to talk about next, but I have to speak on each one. It's just like, you mentioned the ideal of our facial expressions and how people read us.
Yes.
We are a walking book. We are a book. The good book tells us that we are a walking letter. We are a testimony. And so, learning how to control that, how to express positivity. And oftentimes when others are reading us, sometimes they'll say, "Oh, you're not approachable." You get supervisors who give you those things. "Oh, you're not approachable. Oh, you're difficult." It's like, what? I've been trying all this time, right?
You are in your zone. Why does that mean you're difficult, right?
Absolutely. And they call me, I am one that oftentimes they call me the gentle giant, right? Because I have to be my stature, I'm 6'5". I'm over 300 pounds. I'm a burly guy. So when I go, I have to always put a smile on my face.
You're like,
And I
no.
have to realize how people don't look at me. I don't want them to see me as one way, right? So
Yeah.
being able to acquiesce. I love that you say you wanted to develop the backbone, but there's two parts here that I want to make sure I hear you clear. Unicorn to a stallion. What do you mean by that?
Well, as a unicorn, so you talked about people said you're not approachable. Well, I had the opposite problem where everyone thought, oh, ask Leesa, she'll do it. This, that. It was like people just thought I was a doormat because I was always smiling and I was always happy. And I had to learn to get people to earn the right to know who I was and to have this part of me. So it just became, and I suffer with people pleaser syndrome where I never want to let people down. I'm constantly running and overcommitting myself because I want to make sure everyone's happy. Well, that comes across as a sparkly unicorn, with every color and just happy. Where when you see a stallion, somebody who's strong, yes, they're beautiful, they're graceful, but at the end of the day, a stallion, you notice strength. So I really wanted to work on converting my image from, okay, don't think I'm just this, I don't have any content or surface. I'm not just this happy face. I actually do have a lot of content. I have a lot of value that I can offer. So that's what I mean by converting your unicorn image into a stallion, something that comes across, presence is there.
That value offered, value added. Listen, I have something for you. August, summer night. It's going to be a summer night explosion. We have an orator contest coming. We have an orator contest. Yes, our goal is to have 6 women, the most dynamic African American 6 women, 6 men, and they are going to bring it. They are going to bring it in front of a virtual audience, just like this, and we're going to crown a champion. And listen, Leesa, if you can get on that one, you want to showcase because the package for the champion is going to be amazing. You hear me? It's going to be amazing. We're doing a summer night explosion of orator specialists. And I hope you consider to be in there. You've been winning competition after competition to go to the world competition. I hope you would bless us by being in our orator contest. And
I
it's
would
going
be
to be amazing. Yes,
that
it's
you
going to
have these forums, because we need to have more forums for our community, because our children watch this. They need to understand that being able to communicate effectively and strongly is definitely a cool thing.
yes.
Communication is the universal thing that transcends no matter who you are, where you are, what race you are, what socioeconomic status you're in. If you can communicate, you will always be you'll be winning and winning, right? Because not being able to communicate, you're really cheating yourself out of expressing how you feel and being able to declare what you need.
Leesa, let me share with you. Come Saturday, I hope you are ready because
Daddy.
we are telling people dress to impress.
Oh yeah.
Come Afrocentric. Now, listen, Korean, I know your mom is Korean, but that Afrocentrism, we are going to enjoy it. And I learned a lot about Korean culture because I studied Taekwondo.
Yeah.
And I started learning a lot about Korean food and Korean culture. And let me tell you something. I am addicted to Korean films.
Oh
I'm a,
my God.
yes,
The
I'm a
drama.
Netflix. I'm a junkie. I am a junkie to Netflix Korean
Oh,
film.
they are dramaed out. It's hilarious.
Yes, yes, and not even martial arts driven all the time, stuff like that. But it's just amazing the storylines, and it's good to see people who live in another country who have the similar concerns and problems like we do,
Oh yeah.
right? People
Yes,
are people.
because I know you know that the Korean culture share a lot of similarities as far as being enslaved. Japanese people
Yes.
enslaved Korean folks and was trying to commit genocide and pretty much wipe out the whole culture. So yes, they have definitely a very wonderful strength and work ethic. And I really had to learn to embrace being biracial, because growing up, I'm in my 40s. So when I was younger, being biracial wasn't as popular, wasn't as celebrated. It was more like, who you is, what you is, you
Yeah,
Chinese?
for sure. For
Every
sure.
day, every day.
You have to
And
you gotta read my first novel. You would love my first novel. It deals with multiculturalism. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share that book with you when we get a chance. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off.
no, and just so I love it. And when I was talking about my high school experience, which I love my high school, went to William Raines High School, class of '96.
Rain,
Hey, we have
rain.
a reunion coming up. And it was such a dynamic experience. I literally probably was the most diverse in my graduating class. We didn't have any white people. I think there was a few other young ladies who were like half black, half white, and here I am, half black and half Asian. So just learning to really embrace the culture. And Juneteenth was something that was constantly given to us. And we had a lot of pride. I feel like our high school was like a mini HBCU. Probably 90% of my graduating class went to FAMU. And
Yep.
looking back, definitely, if I don't like to live life with regrets, but I will say HBCUs were definitely first on my radar. You get into these situations, and I think that a lot of the schools do that on purpose, where they go after you and they just give you these big packages, and then you end up going to other schools where HBCUs really do need us. They need us to constantly refresh our talents and go. And I tell all my friends, when you're looking for an executive job and they're recruiting, they're not going to the University of Florida to look for the best black talent. They're going to FAMU, they're going to Howard, they're going to Hampton, they're going to Spelman, Morehouse,
Yeah.
to these strong HBCUs to find the best cream of the crop and the talent. So I'm a big proponent of it. And I feel like having your own community, it does not um, isolate you or make you divisive. If anything, I think it gives you more strength and it prepares you better for the workforce, because you need to have that community and get that love from your people. And then you can expand out and really be better equipped to deal with more situations in corporate America.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. Saturday. Saturday. Make sure if you can express Afrocentrism, express
Mm-hmm.
your love for your sorority, however you want to express it, however you want to bring it, because we are telling people, those who are listening, man, bring your dashiki, wear your t-shirts that express love, whatever it is. I love this shirt. I got this. I ordered this shirt, and it's a shirt that says "Man of God" on it, and it's just something that I want to reflect sometimes in what I wear.
Yeah.
So come Saturday, wear what makes you feel good of being biracial and being African American. So
Yeah.
we appreciate you. We love you as you are, right? And we want to also tell you, make sure you have a flask or something that you can put
Yes.
water, because we're going to pour out names.
Amen.
And when I call out the ancestors of mine that I miss, my aunts, my grandparents,
Yes.
my grandfather, I'm gonna call out Lois Moore. I'm gonna call out Laney Moore, because they are my inspiration.
Amen.
What inspired you to write?
Yes. Well, I tell you, I love the libation ceremony, and you're right.
Mm.
It's a collective thing. All the people in your life, the ones who are presently here and the ones who are gone. And I would definitely send the love and respect to my father, Herman Washington. He passed away very young, and my grandparents, Thelma and Ephraim Washington, both. Just, and when you talk about telling stories, I always love being around older people, and I would sit with my grandparents and just talk to them and ask them questions. And having that type of content from people who have had a wider scope of life really is powerful. And I think that too added to my inspiration to write and to document stories to help to keep the legacy going.
Amen. Well, you are representing your family well. And
Thank
we want to make sure we remember Herman Washington.
Yes.
Listen, Herman Washington and how he raised you, inspired you to lift you to higher heights, to going on to school, the University of Florida, and representing on a high level. We want to just say thank you. We want to thank you, because you are changing the narrative for many African American and Korean families across the globe with your book. That self-help and that self-love book, we want to make sure we're going to lift it. Guys, if you don't have this book, we want to make sure that you have Stop Making Lemonade. That's right. It's right here. You want to get to this breakout session to hear Leesa Askew talk about this book, and you are going to be in for an amazing treat when you get a chance to meet her. I'm looking forward to spending the day with you, a part of the day with
I'm
you.
looking forward to it too. I already got my ticket, and
Yes,
if you haven't got your ticket out there, get it. It's virtual. You can do it from
yes,
your phone, so there's no excuses. Everyone
that's
needs to be there.
that's right.
Life changing. I've got an opportunity to meet a lot of the authors and some of the singers, and
Yes,
the group is just phenomenal. The energy, and I commend you, Dr. Henderson, for just making your vision really come to reality. Tell people it's not really who has the biggest or the baddest; it's who executes. That's who wins, and it's all about execution. So thank you for executing and making this forum for all of us. We look forward to passing it on and making sure that everyone could really maximize this opportunity.
amen. And thank you, thank you. We're going to have a celebration. We're going to have music. We're going to have singing, and it's going to be amazing. All of the authors that's lined up, and you. So we're going to make sure Leesa Askew, guys. You got Leesa Askew right here. Make sure you get her book. And how can we find your book? How can they find your book?
Well, it's on Amazon, and I also tell everyone, when you really want to support a local author or independent author, always buy from their website, because they're definitely going to get a bigger portion. So Amazon is on there, and then I do have it on my website, leesaaskew.com. So it's just my name.com.
All right. Well, you guys got it right there. LeesaAskew.com. And social media. Can they find you somewhere? IG or
All IG, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, all Leesa Askew. So at Leesa Askew, IG, LinkedIn, as well as Twitter. And then on Facebook, it's just my page. I have a personal page, and then my brand page, which is Leesa Askew. And I do want to give a huge shout out to KDL Creative. They are the branding company that handles all. Also a Black-owned business that is phenomenal. They do all of the social media, my website. They designed my book cover. So really talented group. I love to patronize our businesses and people who are talented.
Awesome.
The
Awesome.
cycle of dollars, right?
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. That's what we're going to be doing this weekend and for the rest of the year. We're going to be supporting each other.
Yeah.
So once again, you heard it right here, LeesaAskew.com. We want to thank you for joining us, and we're going to make sure that we support you in the efforts that you're doing. Thank you, Leesa.
Have an amazing day.
Yes, thank you.